You've just accessed Hardware is Forever, your source for the expert insights, ideas, and innovations you need to do more in the electronics manufacturing industry. From optimization to operations, join us as we put the pieces together for a better approach to manufacturing. Let's go.
This is Hardware is Forever. I'm Chris Bentliff, and Jay Patel is the CEO at Amtech, is a student of all things, including the great game of existence, and we're talking about game theory. And today, Jay, our topic is the game of signaling. And I am interested in what I'm thinking of baseball right away, which is a way of communicating different things. But let's see what you think. What does in this context, what does it mean? What does signaling mean? And how is it relevant to the game that we're trying to, the positive sum sort of outcome focused game that we're trying to play?
I'm at a loss of words because I feel like these concepts are so profound and so interconnected, but why is it that, the first time I'm diving deep into it, at the age of almost 50, I'm not 50 yet, but almost 50 is the time that I'm getting introduced to this. Cause this is crazy. It just makes life, it just creates a structure and outlook on life that it's just great. You're just learning the game of life a little bit. So sending the right message. And I think this is where we've been seeing it a lot lately is when we talk about, you talk about creating a vision board and visualizing yourself doing it and then willing it into existence. And I forget the other terms are the book Secret, where you almost fake it till you make it. And I think all those things are a function of signaling. So, if a person signals that they're in scarcity, then is somebody who is an abundant mindset going to be around people who are in panic or scarcity? I don't think so. I want somebody who is going to be not negative all the time, who is positive, who makes me feel good at an emotional level, at a secure level. I think we're always looking for that type of stuff. If I do business with them, are they trustworthy? If I want to start a life with them, are they trustworthy and reputable? And when we even talk about it, is we don't know the other person until you actually spend a lot of time with them. But life, sometimes things you just need to do. You can't spend that much time, analyzing everything and making the right decisions. So what is the shortcut for that? That shortcut is that we generate and give out signals and cues, and we interpret and signals and cues. Easy thing is when somebody looks upset, so you're not going to talk to them. That's a signal and cue. But if somebody's happy, you can go up and tell them a joke and you guys will laugh together. That's a signal and a cue. And I think these things, this signaling and cues that we pick up on are either learned or they're also hardwired. When you hear something that's why people get startled. When they hear something that they can't see, it's a loud noise, they get scared because we've been hardwired to think when there's a loud noise where we can't see it, our life is in danger. There may be a big animal behind us. Something's happening where there may be a rock slide. There's something happening that may put us in danger for our lives. So those are the type of signals and cues that we're hardwired to do. And there's other things too, where we learn in different interactions through school, through family, through friends, through life, through work, that there's other signals that we interpret in different ways. And I think the signaling is very, very important. And it can be used in a positive way and a negative way, where if you want to play that positive sum game, your signals are going to be different than if you're going to play a zero sum game. So really, when you're trying to interact with other people, when you're playing this social game of business, of life, of family, of friends, what are you signaling? And that really makes a big difference. For example, a lot of companies, especially lately in manufacturing, if you look at the old days, what does the factory floor, what did it look like? They used to be dingy, not well lit, cramped, it doesn't make you aspire to work in that in that type of environment. But now if you look at factories, well lit, clean, space, safety, organized, everything. So what that signal gives to the customers of the products that are being built in that particular factory or that particular store is that people have attention to detail. People will care about the product that is being made. And because of those signals, somebody else will trust you even more, thinking that these guys, they take pride in what they do. They make sure that they set their team up for success. So me engaging in this relationship with them will get me further than if I engage with the other person that other company whose factory floor is not as clean, you know, the benefits for their employees are not as good, the culture is not as great. All those type of things add up.
In some ways, signals for me are connected to behaviors. What are the things you do? Those are the things that are going to signal to others the experience that they're going to have. And I wonder, tell me a little bit about sort of self-awareness and situational awareness. So maybe we've never had a clean factory floor, but we get ranked number one all the time, and it seems to be working for us. I might not even know that my factory floor is a mess because I'm so busy winning that it doesn't seem a priority to me. That, for me, lacks self-awareness and situational awareness around how others would perceive me to be. I think that we often don't understand how others could perceive us to be. How do we bridge that?
Again, I think it has to be a positive sum game. Like if I'm blind to that, if I'm doing this really good, but I'm blind to that, I need to bring somebody else in who needs me to be really good at this, but then and is blind to what I do, but is really good at this. So I think that's where, I may not be perfect, but that's where the positive sum game comes in, is we need to be collectively better than we are individually. And that's where the positive sum game really starts gaining momentum. And certain signals always say that, like, if I'm growing, if I'm buying a new building, if I'm hiring, if I got funding, or if I get a letter of intent or I win a new contract, those are all signals that share that this company is flourishing in the right trajectory. A signal of even making podcasts that nobody listens to, like that is a signal that the company is possibly engaged in interacting and relationship building and sharing good thoughts. And whether people listen to it or not, at least they're engaged in it. We always look at companies' websites. When was their last blog post? Are they consistent in that? When was the last time they did LinkedIn? It just gives them a pulse. And that's a great signal because they're focusing on this, and they're focusing on this, and they're focusing on this, and they're focusing on that. And it's a well-run organization.
There's a lot of talk the talk or walk the walk in what you're sharing, it's really easy to say that you are one of these things, to say that you are an innovative company, to say one of the things that I do a lot in digital marketing when I'm working with an organization, and they will say to me, part of their value proposition is, we are a customer-centered, innovative company. I will say, what's the opposite of that? Have you ever seen a company that says we are not customer-centered and we are not innovative? You can't just say it. You have to be able to prove it. Talk to me a little bit about that, because there can be value in sort of telling yourself who you want to become until you become that, fake it till you make it. But talk to me a little bit about that. You can't just pretend you are or say you are. You have to do the things. And
I think that's where we talk about reputation as a long game.
Yeah.
That's where we say that we have the signals. Like if I think I'm a very disciplined person, but I don't wake up till 10 a.m. every single day, and I don't, do the routine that I feel like other people should be doing, but I'm not doing. If I don't cut my grass, but I say I have a beautiful house and one of the best ones on the block. Like, I think there are signals in there that really can be very, very clear on how what I'm saying does not match up with the reputation or the results that are coming out there. And for me, I mean, we're growing now. We're becoming more sophisticated, more mature organization. But even for me, I used to say, we're great organization. But when it came to executing on that, we had issues. And I think that's where other people can also see is like, okay, and that's where your reputation is. That's why I say it's a long game. It's like they had problems in the past. Are they getting better? Yes or no? And then that's when those signals come back and you attract the people that you may not have done justice to the trust that was given to you, but you work on it, you get better, and then you engage. And then because you're doing that, those signals may be helping somebody else get integrated with you and attracted by you and have them want to be part of their positive sum game. So signaling happens, whether it's active or passive, silence, running away, messiness, not engaging, those are all signals too. So at the end of the day, you have to choose the signals you want. You have to aspire for the signals you want to have in life, and you have to chase those with other people.
That's a great point. We often think about it's the things that you do that sets the tone, but it's also the things that you're not doing that sets the tone, and that the decision you're not making or that you're choosing not to make that sets the tone. In other words, we can't. You are sending signals, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. Now, do you want to be the boss of the signals that you're sending, or do you just want to let others perceive you without all the information?
Yeah. I
feel like information is this, that's kind of an analogy for this or a synonym. We are collecting data all the time. We've talked about that before. Around us and the people, and from a micro perspective, like this other human being that I'm engaging with, what data am I collecting? Their body language, what they're saying, what I know about them, what you said, like the last time they made a social post or whatever, and what data am I sending? And then we get all that data, and now we get to make a decision with the data that we have or the data that we're missing. And then we make the decision that in context with somebody else. Well, this other manufacturing floor is really clean. For me, I like that a lot more than the cluttered one. I'm going to go with that one.
Yeah.
How intentional do you think, how structured should that be inside of an organization? Like,
I think it has to be aspirational. You have to manifest. And that was the word I was looking for. Like all these, you people are, the secret, and you have to manifest your destiny. Like it just doesn't happen. And I think you need to say, this is where I want to be in 3 to 5 to 10 to 20 years. But this is where I am right now. And this is the step I'm taking to get there. If you're transparent about that and you share that, and you will find a lot more allies that is willing to work with you to get to that level than people who are looking for perfection now. That's
a really good point. And it's that becomes a conversation in the hiring. We want you to come aboard because we're really trying to do this, and we think that you're the person who can help us do it. Jay Patel,
and even with vendors and customers,
How does that work with customers? Like, this is the kind of organization we want you to do business with. So we're going to, how does that communication happen?
I think the signaling is there. It's like, look, we're not there yet, but this is what we got in our foundation. This is where we're going to be. And you are going to help us get there. So not only are you a source of revenue generation, but you're there because you are filling an aspirational cause that we have for the organization. And that is why you're just not a customer, but you are facilitating our vision. And boom, engagement above dollars and cents.
Yeah, that is so much more powerful than here's your receipt. That's now you're collaborating, you're connecting, your community, as you've talked about before, and it's not just transactional, it's something else. And again, this all connects back to things we've talked about with Deming and everywhere else.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay Patel, the CEO at Amtech. We will continue these conversations around game theory. I'm learning a lot as we just kind of figure it out together. Thanks for sharing it all with us, Jay.
Thanks for joining us, and a special thanks to our subscribers and followers. Consider becoming one today wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. Hardware is Forever is designed, tested, engineered, and built by the manufacturing experts at Amtech. Learn more and let us help you envision your next project with a free Design for Manufacturing assessment at buildamtech.com/DFM.